यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधे जय गौरनीताय जय गौरनीताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद और प्रेमानंदे जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिराजकार्य स्तोत्र सत श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणाविंदे श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिराजकार्य स्तोत्र सत श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की ब्रजमो वृंदावन धाम की श्री क्षेत्र मायापुर धाम की गंगा माई यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की, संवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की, शिला प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, हिताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories Shri Prabhupada की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 72, Text 10 and 11. We'll recite Text 10. Ete te bhartaro rajan lokapalam sasambhava jito asmi atmate te aham duratyo yo akarma bhed. Ete te bhartaro rajan लोकपालं ससम्भवा जितोऽस्मि आत्मत्वा ते अहं दुरजो यो अहं कथाभिः एते ते भ्रातरो राजन् लोकपालं ससम्भवा जितोऽस्मि आत्मवते अहं दुरजो यो कृतात्मभि। Please chant. Ete te bhrataro rajan lokapalam sasam jitosmi atmata teham duratyayo yo kritatmabhi. Ete te bhrataro rajan lokapalam sasambhava jitosmi atmavate aham durajyo kritatmabhi. Mataji. Yedete bhratalo rajan lokapalam sasambhava itosmi atmavate teham durajayo kritatmabhi. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll recite word to word meaning. Ete, these, stay, your, Bharataha, brothers, Rajan, O king, Lokaha, of the planets, Pala, from the ruling demigods, Asmaham, as partial expansion. Sambhava, born. Jitaha, conquered. Asmi, am. Atmavita, self controlled. Te, by you. Aham, I. Durajayam, unconquerable. Ya, who? Akaratma abhihi, by those who have not conquered their senses. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: These brothers of yours, O King, have taken birth as a partial expansion of the demigods ruling various planets, and you are so self-controlled, and you have conquered even me, who I am unconquerable for those who cannot control their senses. Purport: Srila Prabhupada writes in the Krishna, it is said that Bhima was born of demigod Vayu and Arjuna was born of the demigod Indra, whereas King Yudhishthira himself was born of demigod Yamaraj. Srila Prabhupada goes on to state, Lord Krishna told King Yudhishthira that he becomes conquered by the love of one who has conquered his senses. One who has not conquered his senses cannot conquer the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the secret of devotional service. To conquer the senses means to engage them constantly in the service of the Lord. The specific qualification of all the Pandavas, brothers, was that they always engaged their senses in the service of the Lord. One who thus engages his services, one who thus engages his senses becomes purified. And with the purified senses, one can actually render service to the Lord. The Lord can thus be conquered by the devotee through the loving transcendental service. Text 11. Na kaschinmatparam loke tejas yasya sriyaha vibhodhivir vibhayet devo apikim uparavitaha. No one in this world, even a demigod, what to speak of an earthly king, can defeat by can defeat my devotee with his strength, beauty, fame, or riches. Purport: Here Lord Krishna assures King Yudhishthira that he will have no problem conquering the worldly kings, since the king is a pure devotee, and Lord's pure devotees can never be conquered, even by the demigods, what to speak of an earthly king. Although materialists are proud of their power, fame, beauty, and opulence, they can never surpass the pure devotees of the Lord in any of these categories. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshurunmitam Yenam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatadeshatarini Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. So I'll once again read the translation. These brothers of yours, O king, have taken birth as a partial expansion of the demigods ruling the various planets. And you are so self controlled that you have conquered even me, who I am unconquerable for those who cannot control their senses. So here, Lord Krishna is glorifying his devotees, especially Pandavas, because Pandavas are performing Rajasuya sacrifice, especially Yudhishthir Maharaj. In that assembly, Lord Krishna is glorifying his devotees. This is Lord Krishna's words. He's saying that I am unconquerable for even who are meditating many thousands of years, like rishis, munis, and all the great sages. And what is the qualification to conquer the Lord? Who can control their senses. That is the main thing. And each of the Pandavas representing their expansion of the various demigods. As in the purport it is said, Bhima was born of demigod Vayu, Arjuna was born of demigod Indra, whereas King Yudhishthir Maharaj himself was born of demigod Yamaraj. So these five Pandavas are not ordinary people. They are not just like uh, general people taking birth in this material world. Their birth is very highly transcendental, and they took the birth as human beings, and they're performing their activities. And another point which is very important, that secret of devotional service is to we should engage our senses constantly in the service of the Lord. That is a secret of devotional service. Then only Lord can be conquered. In these two purports, there are um, many important points which are spoken, but out of them, the whole summary is that if you want to conquer the Lord Krishna, first of all, control the senses and engage them into the service of the Lord, and automatically Lord is conquered. When you engage in the service of the Lord, your senses, what happens? Senses become purified. With the purified senses, one can worship the Lord. With the imperfect senses, with not purified senses, we cannot worship the Lord, or we cannot understand the Lord. As in the Nectar of Devotion is mentioned many times, Sevan Mukhe Jivado Swam Eva Suprataya Ada Sri Krishna Namadi Na Bhaved Greya Indriya. So Krishna's name, form, transcendental activities, you know, cannot be understood by these mundane senses. At the same time, it says, but when we engage our senses in the service of the Lord, the senses become purified. Here it is, we clearly understand that we should not just control the senses and keep them just without engaging them, giving them nothing, and keep them in one place. No. Here it is said, you control the senses from sense object and you engage the senses in the service of the Lord. Just like we see in the circus, the tiger is captured by the people. What the circus people will do after capturing the tiger, any wild animals like elephant, tiger, anything. So The first of all, they put them into the cage and they don't feed them for many days. And later on, that circus man, stunt man, who comes and gives them little food, so that senses becomes calmed down. Then what he does, and he engages that animal in whatever way he needs. Correct? If you just capture a tiger and keep it in one place, and if you don't give them anything, it will become dull and it will eventually it doesn't solve the purpose of the capturing. Of course, in the zoo, we just see the tiger. When you see in the zoo park the tiger, wild animals, they are very dull and they don't do any activity. And because they have been kept like that for many months or years, and they don't, even though they see the human any flesh, they don't just pounce upon it. They just calm down because they don't have any engagement. Similarly, senses are like that. They're wild and powerful. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord, sorry, Arjuna says, "I can able to conquer the wind, which is not easy to conquer the wind now." No. He says, "I can able to conquer the wind, but I cannot able to control my mind and senses." And Arjuna, when he says, "Chanchala manahi Krishna pamati balavadranam tasyam nigram manye vayureva shudushkaram," he said that I can able to control the vayu, wind. That is also difficult. But he says that I can able to control because he is a great person. He is born of a demigod Indra. But he says that I cannot control my mind and senses. Then in the next verse, Krishna says, yes, which is true, but eventually it can be controlled. Krishna is recognizing. Krishna is is appreciating what he told. It is very truth that we cannot able to control. But we eventually, when you gradually put them in the service, engaging service of the Lord, then it can be controlled. Just like we see, you know, our senses, like eyes, what we want to see, a nice object, and ears, we want to hear nice music, and nose, we want to smell good fragrance, tongue, we want to taste good, delicious eatables. Yes, they need some engagement, they need some activity, but when you use them as whatever way you like it, then you will be not satisfied. And what happened to that when you are not satisfied and when you are not pleased, when you are not, then naturally you will be not happy. But when you use them in the service of the Lord, like eyes seeing the Lord, form of the Lord, and ears hearing the Krishna Katha and Kirtan, nose smelling the flowers offered to the Lord, and tongue engaging in glorifying the Lord or tasting the prasadam. When you engage these senses constantly, then that is a qualification to you know win over the Lord, and that there you will get a pure devotional service. That's why it is said, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na Grahed Bravyat Indriyam Sevan Mukhehi Jivado Swayam Evas Paratyaya. So we see that persons who are conquered their senses, they have achieved the greatest, highest form of life. Person who have not conquered their senses, they went to degradation. In the history, in the we see in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Ajamila, he did not able to conquer his senses. What happened? He degraded his life. Whereas on the other hand, we see the Prahlad Maharaj, he could able to conquer his senses. He became a pure devotee. So there is advantage, and when you conquer your senses, when you control your senses, there's so many advantages. But if there is so many disadvantages when you don't control your senses, like as Ravana, he was very lusty. He could He wherever he goes, whichever planet he goes, whoever he likes, he just picked up them and put them in his kingdom. Eventually, what happened? He destroyed his life. Finally, he captured Sita, Mother Sita, and that made him destruction. Not only his entire kingdom was destructed. So that is a dangerous dangerous thing when one who cannot control his senses. You know, not only him, his entire family, his sons, except his brother. You know, except his brother, entire kingdom was destroyed just because he couldn't control his senses. Whereas we see Prahlad Maharaj, was already being tortured by his father constantly, but he is still controlled, and he could able to win over the Lord's mercy. That is the beauty of engaging our senses constantly in the service of the Lord. So we see that in the history also there's so many people, great saintly persons, they have controlled the senses and they just calm down in the situation, and in the provoking situation they just kept quiet. So no matter how they great they are, we see that of one time there was a great sage. you know he was asked to go and test the gods. What is his name? Anybody remembers? Like, he was asked to Bhrigu Maharshi. Bhrigu Maharshi was called an assembly, and he was asked to test the all the demigods, like all the gods, especially um, main criminal, main gods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and Lord Vishnu. And who is the most controlled person in the provoking situation? And he went on first to Brahma Loka. Brahma is father himself to the Bhrigu Maharshi, and he did not offer obeisances. And with that, Brahma got disturbed. That is a custom that when you see your elderly person or even you like in that matter, if you see your father, you should offer obeisances or greet him nicely. Then he did not do it because he went on a task for testing everybody. In that, Brahma was disturbed. When you see your son, he is not happy. Then immediately he become disturbed. Brahma, oh, you are not. You don't have any manners. And then next he went to the Shiva, and Shiva is a Lord brother. Lord Shiva is his brother himself. He couldn't, when he saw his brother Bhrigu Maharshi, he was running and wanting to embrace Bhrigu Maharshi. At that time, Bhrigu Maharshi stopped. You please keep distance from me, because you are so well, filthy person. You roam around the graveyard, and you have put around your snakes, all kinds of ashes. I don't like you to embrace. So immediately Shiva got anger. He put off his trident and about to kill. Then Mother Parvati stopped. And next he went to the Vaikuntha Loka, where Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, Lord, is taking rest, and in the snake bed where Mother Lakshmi is massaging his feet. At that time, um, Lord Vishnu, he did not welcome Bhrigu Maharshi. He did not see that. He just closed his eyes and, in his own world. He did not recognize who is coming, who is not coming, and who is there. So Lord Vishnu didn't say, "Oh, welcome." He didn't He didn't even given basic etiquettes welcoming the great sage. With that, he got very angry. He just kicked the Lord Vishnu in his chest. So immediately, Lord Vishnu woke up. Oh, immediately he captured the lotus feet of Bhrigu Maharshi and massaging lotus feet. So, in this provoking situation, Lord Vishnu he determined that everybody said Lord Vishnu is the supreme personality of Godhead because in the provoking situation he calmed down himself. So that, of course, this is an example, greatest example, where we see that, and also we see Parikshit Maharaj. He could control his senses, anger, when he saw that the sage, he did not offer him a seat, he did not offer him a water. When he was in the forest, he was very thirsty. The sage did not even welcome him. He was in his own meditation. At that time, King Parikshit Maharaj put a dead snake around him, and he went on. And next, what happened? His son came, and he saw that my father was insulted by King Parikshit Maharaj. Immediately, he cursed, and this news was heard by King Parikshit. He could understand, this poor Brahmana boy. He got accursed. Within 7 days, he should die. So what happened? King, Parikshit Maharaj, he has a strength to counter attack on that curse. It's not that he didn't have a strength. It's not that he didn't know how to do that. He could done very easily. Why? Because Parikshit Maharaj is a pure devotee of the Lord. He saw the Lord in the mother's womb, and he is coming from lineage of Pandavas. He is a grandson of the Pandavas. Thus lineage is continued. It's not that he don't know how to counterattack, or it's not that he don't know how to retaliate himself. It's not that how to overcome this. See, here my point is that even though he has a strength, he couldn't, he could have done, but he did not do. He understood this is the mercy of the Lord, and he went eventually to the took the shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. People who doesn't have control, and who doesn't have control over senses, and who became very much degraded in the life, that is one category. And another category, people who doesn't have any control over senses, and who doesn't have power to counter attack, they will attack. You know, if I don't have a strength to attack a person, still I will go and attack. That is a foolishness. Even though these people, they have strength to counterattack. Prahlad Maharaj, he could have called, he could have easily win over his father. They have the strength, they have the power, but they did not attack. Whereas on the other hand, people, they don't have a power, they don't have a strength, they want to fight. This is the funny part of it. People who have strength, they retain themselves and they engage in the service of the Lord. And another example is when Durvasa Muni released the greatest demon on whom Maharaj, there's one king, uh, huh? Ambarish Maharaj, right? Ambarish Maharaj have the control to easily kill that Durvasa Muni. When Sudarshan Chakra was released, it is ready to chop off the head of Durvasa Muni, but still he did not do it. Why? Because he knows this is a pure Brahmana. So my point is that people who have the control, they didn't do it. But people who don't have the control, here we see Durvasa Muni didn't have a control, to control the Sudarshan Chakra. He went to all the planets. He went to the Brahma. He went to the Vishnu. He went to the Shiva. Nobody said that. None of them said that we don't have any control. Even Lord Vishnu said that I don't have a control. You just go back to him and ask forgiveness. So this is the point. Whereas on the other hand, people, they don't have a strength, or they don't have a control over that their emotions, but still they overcome. So my point is that when you engage your senses, which includes mind, say, which includes anger, Hanuman uses his anger in burning this Lanka. Senses, not only these five senses, but also mind, body, ego. These are also should be controlled and actually render in the service of the Lord. Then only loving devotional service can be established in one's life to the transcendental loving service. Then only we can engage our senses. Then only Lord become conquered. Do you think Mother Yashoda, they just got a chance to control the Lord? No. Mother Yashoda in her previous lifetime, she did many tapasya. The same with Devaki, Mother Devaki. They had done severe austerity. That's why they could able to get the son of Lord Krishna, as son of Lord Krishna. So, and also Lord is pleased one who control his senses. It's not that you should engage, then only it may Lord may not, it's not that Lord will not happy. Lord will become pleased, not only happy, he will become pleased by his devotees' behavior. So in the next one also it is said same thing. One cannot destroy the Lord's devotee. It is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in many places. Rake Krishna mare kon mare Krishna rake kon. When Krishna wants to protect his devotee, nobody can do anything. When Krishna wants to kill someone, nobody can protect. Here, Krishna is comparing his devotee, Maharaj Yudhishthira, that saying that even great demigods cannot touch my devotees. What to speak of defeating my devotee? And earthly kings, they doesn't come under any of this category. Even greatest demigod cannot touch my devotee. What to speak of earthly kings? And he is giving the assurance to King Yudhishthira that you will have no problem with any worldly kings. A pure devotee, because he's pure devotee. What to speak of other? And he's, although nobody is equal to his pure devotee in terms of power, fame, name, beauty, opulence. Nobody can surpass. Yes, we see Srila Prabhupada. In the Srila Prabhupada, if we read the history of Srila Prabhupada, then at the age of 70s, he traveled, and nobody have done it yet. And he surrounded the globe 14 times. Nobody has done it at that age. And Srila Prabhupada's beauty, what beauty we see in the old age people after 70s. But Srila Prabhupada was attracted by all over the people in the world. That is beauty of pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada, what he taught. It's not that he is using, some beautiful words, grammatical, very, attractive words, or it's not that he has attractive feature, bodily structure. Like 70 plus person who has 70 plus, he has conquered all over the place. That's why all over the place and all over the people of the world, even greatest people. That's why inside in the nectar of instruction, Vacho Vegam, Mansakro the Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udarantas Pasta Vegam, Etan Vegam, Yo Visheta, Sarvam Apimam, Prutwim Sasishat. One who can control the senses, mind, intelligence, just like it is said in the Vacho Vegam, Manasakro, the mind and tongue and belly, genitals. One who can control, these are on the straight lines. Control these things, anger, he can make disciples all over the world. That's the secret. Srila Prabhupada is a classic example. And what opulence he has. He came US just 40 rupees. It is not even a dollar. Now he is having millions of dollars. And what fame he got, all over the place. Even three worlds, demigods are glorifying. In the Guru Puja we sing, Srila Prabhupada Guru Puja, Tribhuvana. Tribhuvana means like three worlds are being glorified. Evagai Ushutribhuvana, Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana, and he has power. You know. He could able to see all the demigods. So that category, nobody can touch his pure devotee. So at least this is the examples we are given. At least we should able to also take lesson from this and engage our constantly our senses in the service of the Lord. That is a specific qualification of the Pandavas. That is a specific qualification. And though we may not be there all the time engaging our senses, but try to engage most of the time energy, then senses will become purified and they are become happy. Otherwise, this is just like a poisonous snake. When you see a poisonous snake, immediately you get fear because it has poison. But when you remove the poison, snake doesn't have any powerful dangerous. So these senses are like a snake's poison. So but when should engage our senses in the service of the Lord, then senses become purified and we'll be pleased, since Krishna will be pleased by our activity. So we'll stop here. We'll see any questions, comments. Mike, Mike, Mike.
I have to go. I can ask question first.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, bro, for your class. There were few points. Uh, there was one point you mentioned about controlling senses, and once somebody who can control senses is qualified to make disciples all over the world. And the one point you mentioned about Prahlad Maharaj, that he had a lot of tolerance. In today's world, people will say he was abused as a child, and there was demons all around him. And he also says in his prayers that Narsindev, why are you asking me to ask for blessings? Because I have blood of demons in my body, so I will ask something material. So it just takes a takes a lot of tolerance and reliance on God, because at that time maybe Narsimha Dev, these avatars, they come in every cycle of yugas, but Narsimha Dev, he is kept praying to Narsimha Dev, even if he was surrounded by demons and so much fear was there, but he did not. It was so easy to become act like demon in that. And as a child, and then you mention about Prabhupada also, that coming in shape 70 years, but also having three heart attacks. And it's just think in devotion, look, I think to sustain it takes a certain quality of not giving up. However tough things get, I will not give up, however rough it gets. So if you want to talk more about it.
Yeah, it's a very nice point you brought. Prahlad Maharaj. It's an example. It shows, sorry, it's demonstrate like when you become a devotee, so many impediments, so many stumbling blocks will come on your path. One should be ready to able, one should able ready to tolerate them. What that is first lesson, and second lesson is that nowadays we see that considered as a child abuse or whatever you say. Yeah, that is true. But here, Prahlad Maharaj is demonstrating for all of us, devotional service. Initially, it looks bitter, but the end, it is becoming a nectar. That's a one another point of looking that way, because you know um, that shows for us it is in this material world anybody is not spared of material loss. No. Even Krishna comes in this material world. He will not turn on the button where he can able to face all these things because he was insulted by the Shishupal 100 times. That is an example. Like if somebody insult you 2 times, 3 times, immediately we become agitated. frustrated or anger. That is natural. It's not unnatural. But even Krishna comes in this world, material world. He's demonstrating that the rules of regulations and the guy, nature of this material world. Everybody has to go through this phase of hardship. Then only we will become there. But obviously, we can pray for that. Kunti Maharani, right from his birth, she is facing all kinds of troublesome, but still he didn't give up. And also, Srila Prabhupada, as you mentioned, he was, when he was not supported by his god brothers, Gaudiya Math, he was not supported. He didn't get any support. It had happened that when he rode, when he was in the householder's life, his wife sold all the Bhagavatam papers just for a tea, purchasing tea. That is obstacles comes from even one's own family. So that is demonstrating that how much you should be able to tolerate these situations. That's main important, and on top of that, that's why Srila Prabhupada's life become glorious. It's not that we should keep quiet. Whenever you face a problem, try to discuss how we can able to control it, how we can able to overcome it. They are all given examples so that you know at least we were not tortured by our fathers like Prahlad Maharaj. At least we were not cursed by some of our relatives. You become a devotee, die in 7 days. We were not that. We given chance that how much you take. Krishna is giving test whether you like me, you going to all face these obstacles. Still you like me, then Krishna will give you so much mercy. As Yudhishthir Maharaj, is a Yama Dharmaraj himself. Imagine in the Mahabharata and in Bhagavatam also, Yudhishthir Maharaj was insulted by whom? Duryodhana. He was asked to get out of the kingdom. You remember that instant when he was giving moral instructions to the king Dhritarashtra. You are not able to you are not giving proper guidance to your sons, and especially Duryodhan. He is he's not giving his kingdom like as Pandavas. If you do that like that, he was giving moral guidance, instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj, sorry, to the Dhritarashtra. In that between, he suddenly Duryodhana came and he is saying that you are the servant of the Dasi, maid servant. You are the son of the maid servant of Dasi. Then how can you giving instructions to the king? You are not qualified. He uses so many abusing words, and he asked him to get out of the kingdom. And immediately what he does, he put bow arrow in the in the doorsteps. He left. Actually, he could have put, he's also in that Sanjay. He's also not Sanjay. What is his name? Huh? Vidur Maharaj. Vidur. Vidur also is an expansion of Yamdharmaraj. Correct? He could have said to Duryodhana, so I am giving moral instruction, good instructions to your father. Now you are asking me, get out of the kingdom. He could have said, now you know who I am? I am Yamdharmaraj. You come there. We will see you. He could have said that, but he didn't. So my coming to this example is that see then provoking situation comes which should be able to tolerate at least. Well, when you get how one may ask how we can get the strength, just chanting attentively, attending, chanting attentively, reading, hearing these examples, then only we can able to get the strength. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, yeah, because he needs to go also.
Um, with the senses, as they say. And of course, some people they ask the questions or what have you in that regard. But what I've noticed as people, they mention Srila Prabhupada and what he said, that's very good, but you have to use your own mind. And if your mind is corrupted, you're never going to change. So the purification of your mind, like we always talk about the natural propensity. And of course, the food you eat. So the tongue is an organ, just like your heart. And if the heart is corrupted as well as your tongue, because of the quality of the food or the kinds of food, and it continuously goes on right here, or in the whole world, we do things. And there's animals that behave a certain way because of how they eat. Huge animals, small animals, those are all plant-based. When I first came here, there was a little more discipline of your eating. So how much you eat, and you didn't talk when you were consuming your food. But we do mention the senses and controlling them. And there can't be like, oh, I can keep reciting and I can keep reading and I can do it whenever I please. It's not really a game at all. Because recently, there was an incident, and there was a person that was a witness, and the first thing they said, we're conditioned souls. See, as long as we keep saying those things, that's going to be the excuse, whether it's what you eat or what you do or how you behave. I'm a conditioned soul. It's kind of like the Alcoholics Anonymous and those drug groups that people are trying to get off the drugs or the alcohol. The Lord or the spiritual is how they would get off. But every day when they come to the session, they say, I'm an alcoholic. Or that's like saying, I'm obese, I'm ugly, or I'm beautiful, or whatever. You will believe it. So controlling the senses isn't just the genitalia or other things. I find that mind and that tongue, those two can be the worst. And as you're purifying the mind, of course, everything else will follow. And if your intent is pure and sincere, it will follow. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, thank you for your nice comment, which is very, very makes sense and genuine. So thank you. Okay, will anybody else? Okay, we'll stop that. So Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande.